tires really wore out. That's something that's just so fun when you get it right. And I feel like, just with this next-gen car, it's something that's always been fun across whatever series I've ran here. But with this car in particular, it's just so inviting. With the composite body, there's not really a huge sacrifice for getting in the wall multiple times in the race. So, I'm just looking forward to this practice, understanding what our race car has, and then kind of figure out what we need to work on, hopefully nothing, post-practice before we go to qualifying.
How much is maneuverability going to be a factor, especially tomorrow? Maybe you want to learn about where your car can run. Obviously, the top side will be a factor, but maybe try to get it working on the bottom as well.
Yeah, I'd say just, any mile-and-a-half type track that you have, you got to be good in multiple lanes. If you're only good in one lane, someone's going to be able to take it away at some point in the race. So just working on that in practice will be important, and then understanding what lane looks like is going to be the best the first 10, 15 laps.
All right, that's Tyler Reddick getting ready to strap in. He'll be in Group B, so he'll watch this first 20 minutes of practice. But, boy, what a race it was a year ago. Last lap pass on Ryan Blaney. He said, I still don't believe the way it worked out there at the end, but it did for him as he comes in as the defending winner of this race.
Green flag goes in the air, and the first group of NASCAR Cup Series cars begin to roll off of the pit lane and begin their 25-minute practice session. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Today.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
First laps of practice are underway here for the first group of cars on the track. Denny Hamlin, the first one to come flying by the start-finish line.
37 drivers on the entry list for this weekend's Straight Talk Wireless 400. The garage has been broken into 2 groups. You have a group of 19 in Group 1, and then you have the rest in Group 2. The drivers that for the next 25 minutes will be trying to dial their cars in include J.J. Yaley, Cody Ware, Shane Van Gisbergen, Austin Dillon, Noah Gregson, Cole Custer, Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, Todd Gilliland, and Ryan Blaney.
Along with Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, Zane Smith, Bubba Wallace, Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, Denny Hamlin, John Hunter Nemechek, and Justin Haley are the 19 drivers in the first group. 6
of those drivers, now 7, have put time up on the board. Bubba Wallace, the fastest so far, 32.344 seconds, 166.955 miles an hour. And Alex, more times than not, we see drivers and teams, their first laps are some of their quickest laps because the tire give up here is so much.
It really is. So let's talk a little bit about that. The opening laps on the racetrack, Todd Gordon, very important because you can establish a baseline. From there on out, what types of things are you looking for?
You're looking for how your car handles as that grip goes away from the car. This practice itself, the first Cup practice, because it comes after Xfinity qualifying, the racetrack's as green as it's going to be. This is one where this first 5 laps isn't really going to be like what the race is. It's going to have more grip than you want to. You got to pay attention to what happens longer term into this practice to see where your balance is going to go.
I'm watching Denny Hamlin on the racetrack right now. The first lap or 2, he was up against the wall. Now he's come off the wall a little bit. Last time through 3 and 4, he was down the middle of the racetrack. This time through 1 and 2, he started at the top and kind of let it meander, and he's right back to the wall again, Alex, in 3 and 4.
So, Todd Gordon, why is running right up against the outside wall the fastest way around this racetrack?
Well, you end up, if you think about it, the air gets compressed up there. Think about it like a snowplow driving down the highway. It's pushing that snow to the side. The same thing happens with the nose here. It's pushing that air to the side. It creates like a cushion of air up there against the wall. That air is pushing the car back down the racetrack. So you're not asking the tires to do all of it. Some of that is just air pushing on your car to push it around the corner.
That's a perfect explanation on what that is as far as compressing the air and keeping it up there. Denny Hamlin flying around the outside now of Shane Van Gisbergen. Hamlin, no, he's not the fastest single lap speed. He is fourth quick on single lap, but he is just now clicking off 5 consecutive laps, and he is second fastest to one of the cars he owns, and that is Bubba Wallace.
Toyota's fast in the opening salvo. Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones of Legacy Motor Club, Denny Hamlin, they are 3 of the fastest 4. Noah Gregson's Ford in the 3rd position. To get to the fastest Chevrolet, you go to Justin Haley now in position number 5. So we've seen Toyotas run very well here. Of the Toyota drivers, we think of Denny Hamlin, we think of Tyler Reddick. There are a couple of other drivers you can throw in that mix as well. And right now, everybody's just trying to figure out what to do. Talked to some crew chiefs earlier, and they are focused on the long run. Well, how long is a long run? According to the ones I spoke to, about 40 laps, which there's a school of thought in the Cup Garage that says that's about the longest time you're going to run on a set of tires tomorrow. Make sure the car is fastest over that 40-lap run, which is what they're trying to get in the books right now.
And what I'm watching at the moment, now that these drivers have put 6 laps on the board, whose car is giving up time more in these opening 6 laps? Denny Hamlin has lost 0.6 of a second per lap. The fastest single lap speed is Bubba Wallace. He's given up 0.8 of a second in just 6 laps. So that is a big disparity right now in just the opening 6 laps. How hard are you driving your car? Where's the chassis going to be? How much does it change and give up along as the tires wear out?
Alex talked about 0.6 of a second, 0.8 of a second over the course of 7 laps. When we talk about the total run, what's the total amount of time the tires will give up from the time they're put on until you change them?
Well, if you look at these, the stages are about 80 laps apiece. If you split that in half, you're going to be 40. So we're going to run 35 to 40 laps in these runs. You're probably going to see upwards, getting close to 3 seconds of lap time fall off. When the guy comes and starts the cycle, he's going to come out and look like he is superpowers compared to everybody else. That 3 seconds a lap, if you get 3 laps of an advantage on somebody, that's almost 10 seconds that you'll make up on that racetrack.
Continuing here, and this is the Group 1 of the 2. 18.5 minutes remain in this practice session. Watching the cars, Mike, around the racetrack, the overwhelming majority are running that outside lane right up against that seafoam green painted safer barrier. Only 1 or 2 cars are diving down to the bottom of the racetrack. One of them is Bubba Wallace trying to work down inside of Ty Gibbs' car.
And that's because Ty was up against the wall. We had talked about this off air. We talked about it in the garage this morning. It's great to run the wall here. However, if everybody runs the wall, the only way you're going to pass somebody is run off the wall, which I probably would imagine that's an important part of this practice exercise as well.
I would make it a priority as a crew chief that I want to see what the balance of our race car is. 1, running the bottom and ripping around that the best you can, and 2, to be able to run that lane off the wall. Basically, envision that there's a car running the wall, get yourself in clean air below them, and see if you can maintain pace up there. If we can get to that point, then we can pass cars come race time.
Denny Hamlin has run 10 consecutive laps. It was 0.6 of a second that he had from his fastest lap to slow down. Now it's 1.3 seconds slower than his fastest lap, and that's just in 10 green flag laps out there.
Let's go to pit road and get an update on Bubba Wallace. Chris?
Well, Mike, he just came over the radio and said, I'm really, really free. They told him to migrate up to the top side of the racetrack just to try to salvage the car. They want to get a good read with about another 15 laps or so to kind of get a gauge on what you guys were talking about is the long run. But Bubba already complaining of a free race car. The single lap speed is good, but again, started out free and it's just building even freer. So the car's starting to skate a little bit, trying to salvage the tires. But again, just trying to get a good long run in because you don't have enough time to make several runs and make adjustments in such a short track period of time for practice. So trying to focus Bubba on the long run, but again, an ill-handling car for him.
Different strategies and different approaches to practice, Steve Post, for these race teams.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, and this is so critical, beyond talking about that win last week, I had a chance to hang out with Josh Berry a little bit and talk a little bit more, and I said, this practice session today, what are you looking for? And he really broke it down to a couple of things. Looking for consistency. Can you maintain that lap pace? You guys have already talked about the degree of fall off of speed. Can you maintain that longer than everybody else? And he is going to be looking for drivability, wanting that car to be able to search around. How is it on the bottom? How is it in the middle? How is it up top? And that is so key, really key to anything here at Homestead, Miami. Been monitoring Ryan Blaney's radio, and the only communication from Ryan back to the team was he cued the radio and said, good balance. Todd Gordon, you're a crew chief, a championship-winning crew chief, and you've been the crew chief for Ryan Blaney. When your driver tells you you have good balance in a long run in practice, what does that mean, and what does that make you think that Blaney and those guys are looking at right now?
Yeah, good question. It's what means that he's using the tires equally. It's not that the front end won't turn. It's not that the rear end won't stay behind him. He's got the right side tires both working together. The car has confidence in doing the things he wants to. And I'm watching him out there. He's not running up against the wall. He's passing cars on the bottom, able to wrap that white line and actually make a pass through here. When you're talking, if he's talking about he's got good balance, I want to see where this goes in the long run. What the migration of that balance is. We're less than 15 laps into this run for Ryan Blaney. I want to see where it goes on the longer run.
Got 15 minutes and 8 seconds left in this practice session, and Alex, as of this very moment, drivers are coming across the line, and now we're starting to get an idea of the 15-lap average. Bubba Wallace has just turned his 15th lap. Eric Jones has done the same. Denny Hamlin has just done that. The driver with the least amount of laps inside of the fast cars, Kyle Busch, who has only completed 6 laps while everybody's getting ready to turn their 15th and 16th.
And he is just rolling off the pit lane. He came to pit road after 6 green flag laps, put the hood up on the car, jacked up the left side. The crew was swarming around that Chevrolet, making some adjustments to it. They buttoned that up, and he is rolling on the access lane to get back out on the racetrack. When you have a championship caliber driver like a Kyle Busch who understands what the car's doing, there is no need, I guess, Todd, is there, to stay out there and run consecutive laps if you have a bad balance?
Well, what we heard out of Steve Post, Ryan Blaney radioed in that they had good balance in the race car. They can keep working on that. But this is one of those things. If Kyle Busch doesn't feel confident with where the balance of his race car is, this is the only practice. Let's make a swing at it, find ourselves the definition of where the balance needs to go and what we can do going forward from this. Steve Post, you got more to build on this?
You're precisely right in that they decided that if it's not handling right, why continue down that course? So Randall Burnett and Kyle Busch made the decision to bring that car in, and their specific problem was tight on the exit, so he couldn't get the car rotated in turns number 2 and turns number 4, and it was getting worse. So why continue down that path? They came in. Alex, as you described, all of the adjustments on the car, all of the changes. Kyle's just rolled on the speedway, and they're working to see if they can free that car up now so he can roll off from the corners just a little bit better.
Right now, Kyle Busch, 10th of the 19 cars on the track. Everybody is chasing Bubba Wallace. He has just turned in his 18th lap with a speed, the fast speed of 166.955 miles an hour. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Daniel Suarez, NASCAR driver, and I'm very excited to announce the NASCAR Cup Series is coming to Mexico. For the first time in history, NASCAR Cup Series will leave the United States and visit Mexico City. See you at the Autódromo Hermano Rodriguez from June 13 to June 15. Fast cars, sharp turns, and the magic of Mexico. Let's race. Get your tickets for the NASCAR Mexico City weekend on Ticketmaster.
Hey guys, Corey Joy here. Make sure you catch Stacking Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything. And you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, just under 12 minutes to go in the opening set of practice for the Group 1 cars. Bubba Wallace, the fastest of those so far. Eric Jones, Noah Gragson, Denny Hamlin, and Justin Haley are the fast 5 overall. But, Alex, we're starting to see some trends in the 15-lap average.
Yeah, we are, with Wallace being the fastest in the 15-lap average. You've got Hamlin second quick. Then you've got Ryan Blaney. And we've been monitoring very closely your fastest lap time, which for most everybody was their opening lap, to their last lap time. Ryan Blaney's car has only slowed down about a second, maybe 1.1 or 2 seconds from his fastest lap, while the others are up to 1.3 and 1.5 seconds. So Blaney's car, while giving up the speed because of the tire degradation, not quite as much. It's almost like Ryan Blaney and his team, they hit a plateau and they don't get worse from there.
And I think part of this has to do with Ryan Blaney sat at the end of pit road, let the other cars rubber the racetrack in. We just had Xfinity practice. We got rubber into the racetrack. Blaney's almost 2/10 off of Bubba Wallace's fast lap, but he didn't start until lap 5. They wanted the racetrack to get a little rubber to be a more consistent read for them through the run.
So it would appear then, through what you just described, that the Group 1 cars are doing the heavy lifting, quote unquote, while the Group 2 cars are just sitting down there and watching everybody do all this.
And you hear these drivers and crew chiefs talk about the metric all the time for qualifying. The metric sets which group you're going to be in. If you had a good finish last week and your points position's decent, because the finish of last week is 70% of the metric, you're going to find yourself in Group 2, a more realistic racetrack to what you need to race on. Having a poor weekend, being stuck in Group 1, you actually become like the Packer car if you think about short track racing, where you rubber the racetrack in. It's harder to get a good read on balance in this first practice.
So what is the advantage then? Because Ryan Blaney drives for Team Penske. We'll use this because Joey Logano and Austin Cindric, also Team Penske drivers, are in the next group. How important is the feedback from Ryan Blaney and his team to the rest of the Team Penske organization?
I think it's huge to have cars in both practices, and definitely if you can have one of your cars in this first practice and the rest of you in the second one, you know what the balance offsets are between your car and their car. You can see what the balance read is from the driver. You might even make adjustments on this car before you start the second practice because you knew what your teammate had for balance out there off of what they had. I talked to Brian Wilson and Jonathan Hassler this morning. Brian Wilson, I think this week on Sirius, talked about they were going to come just like the 12 car because the 12 car was so good here last fall. He's got a great situation. He can read off of what Ryan says and make small tweaks of what they need to do to run the second practice.
Todd, I've been watching a couple of drivers enter pit road here, actually about 3 or 4 of them, and it seems like that this pit entry is a bit awkward compared to some of the others. The drivers will huddle up at the white line, they'll stay out, and then hang a hard left and shoot the commitment box into pit road. What is the level of difficulty for this pit entry here?
It's difficult, and the biggest part is that you'll get a read on it here with 18 laps on tires, but you've got to come with tires that are 2 seconds slower this when you come at lap 40. So even if you get it figured out here, you're going to have to back those points up for where you come actually in the race. You stay out there above the white line because you've got banking. It's keeping the car compressed. It allows you to brake a little bit harder. That's why you're not down on the flat coming to pit road.
Fastest car in single lap speed is also the fastest car on the 5-lap average, the 10 and the 15-lap average. That's Bubba Wallace, but he's brought his car to the pit lane, and as I was watching that Columbia-sponsored car come down, he has got some damage down the right side of the race car. He has clearly been into the safer barrier at one end of the racetrack or the other. Got some of that paint scuffed off the wheel wells. The yellow from the Goodyear writing on the sides of the tires, Chris Wilner, that too is completely gone.
Yeah, it is, and he brought his 2311 Toyota that's multicolored here with the Columbia sponsorship back to pit road. No major complaints, so they don't seem too concerned about that damage to the right side, although Bubba was complaining with a free race car through much of that run. So running just shy about 30 laps. They opted to bring him down. Crew Chief Charles DeNike is going to go through the notebook here, maybe possibly make one adjustment and send him back out. But you guys mentioned it, leading the group in not only the short run but the long run. Handling was pretty good up until that very end. They just feel like the car got too free and Bubba able to get the wall just a little bit, but no concern on the damage to Bubba Wallace's machine.
Alex told you about he is checking a lot of boxes, the 5, 10, the 15 lap average in total laps run. You've got Joe Gibbs racing teammates, maybe Toyota racing teammates. Actually now, 29 laps in the books for Riley Herbst, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs. Again, we're trying to get to that 30, 35, 40 lap mark. Basically, they're mimicking a run that if we go green tomorrow that we'll see in the Straight Talk Wireless 400.
Denny Hamlin, along with Noah Gragson, Austin Dillon, the list goes on and on. Most everybody who went out when the track opened for practice are still turning laps. Hamlin has just put up his 30th consecutive lap, and Denny Hamlin's lap times are now 2 seconds. As a matter of fact, 2.1 seconds off of what his fast lap was. So that is by design. The tires will wear out here with the softer rubber, but you've also got a great racetrack that just eats them up. And the lap times continue to get slower and slower. That puts it back in the driver's hands, Mike, where they just have to manhandle race cars.
Practice and pole qualifying for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 is brought to you on MRN by E3 Spark Plugs. Powerful and fuel efficient. Find E3 at your nearest auto parts store.
Todd, as the track continues to get laps put down on it, it is a partly cloudy type of day. So turns 1 and 2 being baked in sunshine. Turns 3 and 4 at this moment under cloud cover. Is this a very sensitive track when it comes to temperature?
Temperature always makes a difference on an asphalt racetrack. I think it's one that, you'll see grip come and go depending on how much sunshine it sees. We even see just what they bake in during the weekend. You'll see the difference in the two ends. 1 and 2, you'll see guys may run down the racetrack. 3 and 4, they'll be up against the wall. Mike Bagley, you just saw something there. Denny Hamlin slowed down.
32 laps on tires, and he missed the entrance to pit road, going back to what you just said a moment ago. So, right, we're talking 18, 20 lap tires. He's got 32 lap tires on right now, and he tried to woe that car down, and he went to make the cut to come on the pit lane. He couldn't do it, and he had to go on through. We've seen this happen at Homestead before, many times.
But that's why it's called practice, and you're not going to be penalized here like you would in a race where you give up a ton of track position. Hamlin going back around the track. This time he'll successfully be able to get to pit road. Now, we continue to have a handful of cars still on the track. Steve Post, one of them is Noah Gragson, third fastest overall.
Third fastest, and they are clicking off a lot of laps. Just listening into the radio communication between Noah and his crew chief, Drew Blickensderfer, and they are very happy overall with the race car. Where they're focusing on and where Noah needs just a little bit more grip is the exit of the corner, but it is minor, and when you're this deep into a run and you're talking minor changes, I think this bodes well for Noah Gragson and Drew Blickensderfer. And boy, this is a team that I think has ran good this year, but they're sub 30, they're below 30th in the point standings. They need a good day, and maybe Homestead is just what the doctor ordered. They've had a really good, solid practice so far with Noah Gragson in that Front Row Motorsports Ford.
Stop and think about what Noah Gregson's been doing in the Cup Series. This is only his second full-time season, and he's driving for his third team in 3 years. He's just trying to get the dust to settle, just trying to get everything to calm down. He's a very talented race car driver. He just needs that stability and long-term consistency, especially with crew chief and team.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it that's a benefit for Noah here. A new race team, but he and Drew Blickensderfer were together last year at Stewart-Haas Racing. Drew Blickensderfer came over with him to Front Row Motorsports, and the two of them still have that chemistry going forward. They're buried in the points because they haven't had the finishes, but they've had decent pace in the race cars. They just need to get them to the end.
I think another factor for Noah Gragson, Mike, is the fact that as a person, he's just growing up and he's maturing, and he's having to do it. It's challenging in the sport of NASCAR racing, like a lot of professional sports, where you start your career and you're in a public eye with microphones and cameras and fans at a young age. He's having to grow up and he's having to mature as an individual, let alone a race car driver, to be able to do that. So I think Noah Gragson, part of the factor that's got going on with his success is the fact that he's just a different person and he's continuing to mature.
Well, and also stop and think about it. You mentioned all that's going on with Noah. He's also living in the age of social media, where everybody will offer an opinion whether it's asked for or not, and a lot of times that arena and that medium plays a big part in a young driver's development. I've talked to some drivers that don't go on social media. They just want to focus on the feedback from the crew chief, from the owner, from the team, and not worry about other outside feedback and just focus on the task at hand.
It's easy to get swept up in all the negativity on social media, but on the same token, with you. You have to figure out how to balance that, because it is just a part of life now in the world that we live in. So deal with it the best way you can, but understand where it's coming from and understand whose criticism is the one to take to heart and how to process that.
We're about to button up Group 1 of this practice session. Less than 2 minutes to go. Bubba Wallace still the fastest in single car speed. Just checking the 15-lap run. Well, Bubba checks the 5-lap, the 10-lap, and the 15-lap box. Denny Hamlin right behind him in second in all three categories, and Ryan Blaney third behind those two that I mentioned in the 5-lap, the 10-lap, and the 15-lap average. Now that's from Group 1. As Todd mentioned a few moments ago, this group is rubbering this racetrack in. And Alex, a lot of the rubbering in this portion of practice has been right up against the safer barrier.
And with the worn out tires, we're watching car after car miss pit road trying to come in. And we've seen Austin Dillon do it. Noah Gragson just missed the pit lane. And the majority of these cars, Todd Gordon, that keep coming to pit road off the racetrack, here's Kyle Busch with what I'm about to talk about. The right rear scuffed up a little bit. It's a given when you come to Homestead Miami Speedway. When you run the outside lane, you're going to touch the safer barrier. Is there a point as a crew chief and a race team you got to say, okay, that's too much?
Yeah, when the steering wheel is no longer straight down the straightaway, because it means you've been a toe link. But really, with these composite bodies and where they are today, they do. We've talked a little bit about this, but they'll push in. When you get to the wall, they'll come back out. When you hit it hard enough that it starts to discolor, if you get paint into the wheels, you know you've got a problem there. And when you start to lose alignment, but if from where these guys are, a couple feet off the wall, if you get up into it, usually it's not a bad thing. We used to talk about Darlington with the Darlington stripe. That's been decades that we've had that. Homestead's become just as big, if not bigger, than Darlington in that respect.
And I was about to say, this weekend is going to give us a primer for the Goodyear 400 race weekend. 2 weekends from now, we'll go from here to Martinsville to Darlington. So the right sides of these race cars are going to get a workout here in the next 2 weeks.
I do miss the fact, I remember the late, great NASCAR Hall of Famer Junior Johnson. I was doing a Q&A with him at the NASCAR Hall of Fame a few years back, and we were talking about getting into the wall at Darlington, where he would build and put blocks of wood between the sheet metal on the right side to the frame just to keep that from pushing in on the frame and on the tires.
And oak's a little bit firmer than pine is, so oak was always a good choice for that wood in the right side of the doors.
Welcome to Lumber Today with Todd Gordon. Coming up, we've got more practice from Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Whelen Engineering, a global leader in the emergency warning industry, designs and manufactures reliable and powerful warning lights, white illumination lighting, sirens, controllers, and warning systems for the automotive, aviation, and mass notification industries worldwide. Whelen products are designed, sourced, and manufactured in America and tested on site to meet the toughest industry standards. Whelen Engineering, manufactured in America for over 70 years. We never left, and we're here to stay.
By the National Association of Broadcasters.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, we are smack dab in the middle of practice for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Group 1 has just gotten their 25 minutes. We are about to get 25 minutes for Group 2, and that bunch will have a chance to come out and give a hand or give a shot at trying to turn in a fast lap.
And that bunch consists of Chase Briscoe, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, A.J. Allmendinger, Chris Buescher, Christopher Bell, and others.
Chase Elliott is on that list, including Kyle Larson, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, and William Byron. I'm curious to see the lap times of Group 2 now that Group 1 has been out and it has applied more rubber to the racing surface.
Especially these first laps, because we are going to qualify here in a little while once we wrap up practice. So what are these first laps going to be, especially now that the track is completely rubbered in?
Yeah, to that point, this second group won't have as good of an idea of what the balance is when they first fire off for qualifying. But the race balance idea here is going to be better. I would expect most of this group to be a little bit slower on the fire-off side, maybe not have as much lap time fall off because they aren't firing off as fast on the front side.
So right now, while they sort that out, the Group 1 cars have returned to pit road. The drivers have climbed from them. They are debriefing with the crew chiefs. We see a lot of hoods up and obviously some attention to those race cars as everybody will be preparing for qualifying, which will be coming up in a little over 40 minutes from right now. And don't forget, later today, we're going to be back with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Hard Rock Bet 300, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, our call of what will be race 6 of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series and race 1 for their Dash for Cash bonus program.
And we'll see what Kyle Larson can do in the Xfinity Series race. Larson is the only driver this weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway that's racing in all 3 events. He won last night's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Baptist Health 200 in a thrilling race and a come-from-behind charge in the closing laps. But it's Homestead Miami Speedway. I expect every race to be a thrilling race.
It is. Every time we come here, you talk about that truck race. We, of course, had that for you on the NASCAR Racing Network last night. You had Kyle Larson coming from the back at one point. You had Ty Majeski coming back there. And it was spectacular to watch them do their work with Kyle Larson walking away with the checkered flag. We mentioned Bubba Wallace, the fastest in the 5-lap, the 10-lap, the 15-lap average. He's with Chris Wilner right now.
And he's getting ready to watch Group 2 go out. Bubba, so far so good when you look at leading the board in basically every statistical category. How's the car handling so far here at Homestead?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, the speed is there. I feel it. Just really proud of the effort on our Columbia PFG Toyota Camry. It's really fast. It looks good. It looks the best. Our team cars are a close second, but no one touches our car. But just good to be here at Homestead. The weather's beautiful. I hope everything's okay with the fires going on. But really, just love showing up to this place, and especially when you have speed, it makes your day just a little bit easier. There's nothing easy about this, but it makes it a little bit easier.
Nothing easier. I saw it got into the wall a little bit, too. Just how hard were you pushing, or just is that a product of the tire fall off and the car handling changing?
All the above. One thing that you learn over time is nothing's ever the same. And so I got a better run out of 2, which means more speed into 3. Led me into the wall, and I thought I had it under control, and it just got us sucked in there. But all in all, I don't think it's too much damage. I think when I qualified on the pole at Darlington, I had a little bit more damage than that, so I think we should be okay.
Thanks, Bubba. He's going to watch his teammate Tyler Reddick here in Group 2, but so far so good for Bubba Wallace in 2311 Racing.
He mentioned the way his car looks. It is a cool-looking race car, a pink number. He's got some green and yellow, some teal. It's the Columbia Sportswear Performance Fishing Gear apparel line, and it's basically got fish scales all the way down the car. It's a good-looking, very unique paint scheme, and it's a fast race car as well.
You know, it used to be when you would make contact with the wall with cup cars, it was the end of your day. And now with this next generation race car, you've got opportunity to rebound. We'll explore more of that in a moment. First, let's catch up with the driver that was second in single car speed. He's with Steve Post.
Eric Jones down here has the Family Dollar colors on the Toyota down here. And Eric, how good was your race car? One of the speed charts had you toward the top of it. It said it looked good. Well, how good did it feel from the driver's seat?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I think we've just been bringing good cars to unload, which has been nice the last few weeks. We got to put the whole race together. We haven't done that yet the last few. So, another good car though. I think it was decent on the long run, and hopefully for tomorrow it'll be strong. But just happy with the speed and being able to just be towards the top, and makes it a little bit easier to go from there than when you got a slow one for sure.
I want to go a little deeper on what you just said. We talked so much about Sunday afternoon, and I know you guys are working at it. How critical, though, is it to unload quick and to put together a good Saturday and Sunday?
I mean, it makes a big difference, having a good pit stall, starting up front. It's just hard to pass, and pit roads become a big deal, and you want to do well down there with your rolling times and have good stops. So it helps all that, but at the end of it, you just got to have the right adjustments for Sunday. So we're working through it. I've only been with Ben in this group for, at this point, 6 or 7 races from even last year. So still learning each other and what we need for adjustment, and hopefully we can hit it right for tomorrow.
I am sure they will. That is Eric Jones. Pretty quick here in this practice session, and now he's going to just watch and see what happens here in Group B.
He said he's only been with Ben a short while, referring to his crew chief, Ben Bayshore, and that's a new crew chief driver pairing at Legacy Motor Club this year. We expect big things out of them. The second group of cars are poised and ready to go on the racetrack for their 25-minute session. We'll have that for you next. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
We are under the green flag.
Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, second group of cars are getting set to go out, and part of what we learn is when the cars come off the racetrack, everybody debriefs and figures out things and nuances that happen over the practice session, like what Chris Wilner's got for us.
Yeah, Alex, one of the things I've just noticed listening to some of the teams as they debrief, especially the drivers in Group A, like some of the Toyotas at 2311 as well as Joe Gibbs, is the fact that these tires, as the racetrack builds up with rubber, and the rubber that gets deposited on the racetrack, the tires are picking up some of that tire debris, some of that tire carcass that gets deposited, and it gets stuck in the wheel well on the inside of these tires and can cause a little bit of a handling issue. We even heard drivers even yesterday in the truck series talk about maybe possible vibration just with the rubber that's picked up. So Todd and the boys will let you kind of dive into that further, but the fact that there's some tire already being left on the racetrack, it's getting picked up by the tires on the cup cars moving around here, can create quite the handling issue.
Yeah, definitely one of those situations. You might pick up vibrations and pieces like that. We've heard of that last week at Las Vegas with guys with the rubber kind of getting built inside the wheel. But it's one of those pieces that when you have lap time fall off, you have tire wear, that rubber's got to go someplace. So it'll be all over this racetrack. I expect this practice to fire off a little bit slower than what practice 1 was.
And with that, we await the Group 2 cars to come onto the racetrack. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, Group 1 practice in the books, and after a brief intermission, it's time for the Group 2 cars to get onto the racetrack, and Alex, pit road has just opened up, and the green flag has just flown from the flag stand.
And they are just now flashing by the start-finish line. The first driver to do so in a beautiful blue, red, and white Chevrolet with Valvoline on it. That's William Byron. A little bit of a different look with the Valvoline colors for Byron here this year. He's the first driver to come by start-finish line to begin practice.
And he begins his practice using a different line. When he went off the end of the front straightaway, he was about a lane off the bottom, but in turn number 3, He takes it straight to the wall, and that's where he's riding right now. Let's follow William Byron out of turn number 4. We'll use him as a benchmark for these Group 2 cars as he comes to the line and completes his first lap of practice.
And he'll flash by the start-finish line. He will be overall back in the 18th spot. But there are drivers, Mike, that are jumping up the leaderboard. Tyler Reddick has gone to the number 6 spot. Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, they're opening laps compared to Group 1 cars. It's all mixed in together. We got some pretty fast race cars here.
Christopher Bell, the fastest of the Group 2 cars already. That'll put him 4th overall of everyone that has taken time. And also, just looking out the glass here at the main straightaway, we're seeing intermittent cloud cover. Will be bright sunshine, and then a cloud will float over. And right now, we've got sunshine on the front stretch. We've got clouds in turns 3 and 4, just part of South Florida and the ever-changing weather conditions.
In Group 1, Todd Gordon, we used Team Penske as the example that Ryan Blaney was the only one of the 3 Penske cars in practice number 1. The other 2 in Logano and Cindric are here in Group B, or the second group. All 4 of the Hendrick Chevrolets are in this particular practice session. What are the challenges for that race team with all 4 cars out here at the same time?
Well, they've had to watch first practice and just see what they see out of cars that they compete against. They don't really have a notebook and a known to say, okay, that car, I know the balance was here, this is where mine was, he's complaining about this, I might need to tune on this. They don't have that data point. So this is kind of more of like a blind practice for these 4 Hendrick cars, but I think from all 4 Hendrick crew chiefs want to be in this practice. They just wanted one of their teammates to be stuck in that first one.
Get that data out of Group 1 like some of the others, like Team Penske did. Now, a Hendrick car is fastest in this practice so far. Kyle Larson just turned in a fast time and lap of 32.391 seconds. That's 166.713 miles an hour. Puts him 3rd overall of the drivers in single lap speeds.
It does. We'll wait for them to click off a 5 consecutive lap run, and we'll be able to put a comparison there to Group 1 cars in the 5 lap average. Obviously, we'll wait for 10, 15, so on and so forth, where Bubba Wallace still is the fastest overall single lap speed. Eric Jones 2nd. To Mike's point, Kyle Larson here in the second group is 3rd. Noah Gragson is 4th on single lap speeds, and Group 2 participant Christopher Bell is 5th right now in single lap speed.
So watching Kyle Larson go around the racetrack, he came off the end of the backstretch and just rode the wall. From the backstretch, turn 3, turn 4, all the way around. However, in turns 1 and 2, he left himself about 3/4 of a lane gap between the right side of his race car and the safer barrier. Here he comes again through 3 and 4. He's got that thing pinned right up against the safer barrier. And I'm going to watch him again when he comes across the line. He's following Austin Cindric on the racetrack. But as Kyle trips the timing lights at the start-finish line and he exits the front straightaway, he's not as snug up against the turn 1 and 2 end of the racetrack like he is in 3 and 4.
And that's characteristic of this racetrack. That really, when you look at this racetrack, guys will search around for a lane in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, it tends to be the dominant line tends to be the wall. 1 and 2 seems to be the place that you can come off the wall and find some places to make speed.
5 lap consecutive average is now beginning to shuffle up just a bit. Kyle Larson has become the best right now overall in all cars here in the property in the Cup Series as the best overall in 5 lap consecutive average. So Chase Briscoe, he's jumped into the top 5 as well as far as the 5 lap consecutive average. He's up to the number 4 spot. So there's a good mix of speed from Group 1 to where we are here in the Group 2 cars.
Of course, it's been a busy week for Chase Briscoe. He, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron tested tires Tuesday and Wednesday at Charlotte Motor Speedway, getting ready for the Coca-Cola 600. And this has been a year where we're waiting to see the results for Chase Briscoe, because at Phoenix a couple of weeks ago he got caught up in an accident, not of his own making. Things just haven't gone his way and their way. He expressed a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of excitement of getting here to Homestead Miami Speedway. He feels that this race car, this team, and this effort this weekend should give him his best finish ever at Homestead.
I think so, and it's a building process when you go over to a new race team. Not just that, it's a different manufacturer, so things are different with the drivetrain as he came from Ford to the Toyota, and getting used to the communication, not only with the verbiage with his crew chief James Small, but the dialect as well. James Small being from Australia, so there's a bit of an accent there. And, of course, Chase Briscoe being from the state of Indiana, he's got that Midwestern slang about him, too. So there's some growing pains that comes along with that.
Definitely is. I mean, finding the chemistry and understanding the little nuances of each other, that's part that comes with experience. And as they build this relationship forward, that's only going to get stronger and stronger as this year continues on.
Just watching Kyle Larson right now just smoked Austin Cindric a lap ago. He made the pass and is pulled away, and it looks like to the naked eye, Kyle's exit speed from the middle of the corner off is spectacular. He's pulled away from Cindric by about maybe 8 car lengths on the racetrack. Austin trying to use a different line, varying his line in 3 and 4, while Larson continues to keep it planted up against the safer barrier.
And I've watched this for the last 5 or 6 laps, and Austin Cindric has not run the wall yet. He's been that lane off Kyle Larson. That left Kyle Larson the air to run up there at the wall, but Cindric has been kind of down that lane, working on the race car. One of those things I talk about, you got to figure out how you can run where people aren't. I think a good focus by Brian Wilson and Austin Cindric to see where they can find a balance of race car off the wall.
Austin Cindric not triggering the proximity detector if there were any on these cars. Obviously staying off that safer barrier and perhaps giving himself a little room to work. Now he ventures up near the safer barrier this time through.
One driver keeping an eye on is a Team Penske driver and Joey Logano. Logano's had a lot of success here at Homestead Miami Speedway, as has the gentleman sitting to Mike and myself's left. That is Todd Gordon, won their NASCAR Cup Series championship here at Homestead back in 2018. Logano in single lap speeds, 32nd of 37, and he is not showing up on the 5 or 10 consecutive lap average right now. And
to pay off the stat that you just dusted off, Todd has 10 starts in the Cup Series here. 1 with Joey in November of 18. 5 top 5s, 7 top 10s, 228 laps led for our esteemed analyst sitting to our left, one Todd Gordon. Back trackside to Chris Wilner.
Well, Mike just monitoring the radio for Kyle Larson. Remember last night when he won the Truck Series race, he put it up on the fence in both ends of the racetrack and just carved his way through the field on the way to the win. Now, Kyle's goal today in practice was to really find the maneuverability of his HenderCars.com Chevrolet. He said you can't rely on being on the top here the entire race, and felt like the bottom is where he struggled, especially 1 and 2. So as you guys were noting, he was running the bottom in 1 and 2, top in 3 and 4, and Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, just came over the radio letting him know where Tyler Reddick is running in 1 and 2, but said right now he's the best car in 3 and 4. So really happy so far as they continue to focus on the long run. But Larson focusing on running both lanes here for the Cup car, a little bit different than the strategy in the truck race last night.
Larson has run 14 consecutive laps to start this practice, and his lap times have slowed down by 1.3 seconds a lap from where he was on his opening lap.
Well, look at his best lap average. He's number 1, right in front of everybody. The fast 10 lap average, he's 3rd on the list. Now he's 2nd in 15 lap average. So there are some others out there that are giving him a run for his money. Coming into the weekend, we thought it was going to be all Kyle Larson, all Tyler Reddick, maybe a Denny Hamlin chaser or maybe a Bubba Wallace sidecar, and all that's still in play. But Todd, what do you make about he's fastest in the 5 lap, 3rd in the 10th, and now he's 2nd in the 15th? That fall off is kind of different from the others that have blazed those trails already today.
I think a lot of this has to do with how committed you want to be to running the wall, and I feel like with where he was with Austin Cindric running a lane down, it forced him into running the wall to get by him just consecutive laps. That's going to make his 15-lap average look better being up there than if he had done what Cliff had talked about and worked on different lines in 1 and 2 and got off the wall. You're going to lose a little pace doing that, but you're going to find out what the balance of your race car is.
Right now, as we look around the racetrack, the overwhelming majority of this track is in cloud cover with just a big passing white fluffy cloud overhead here, as that's going to give just a smidge more grip to these cars out here in this particular run. Keeping a close eye on Christopher Bell as well. C. Bell, arguably the hottest driver in the NASCAR Cup Series here in 2025. 5th on single lap speeds as we run, but Christopher Bell in the 5-lap average is 7th. Christopher Bell is 10th on the 10-lap average, and he's 10th on the 15-lap average as well. Expect a lot of Christopher Bell now, and rightly so. When you come out and win the way he has this year, Mike, it changes the expectation for that race team.
Well, this team has been firing on all eight cylinders, that is, for quite a while now. And what I believe we're seeing, Alex, is the convergence of a lot of things coming together that's been in play for quite a while. There is no doubt that Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell at Joe Gibbs Racing, they are a potent pairing. And while they have had fast cars in the past, the situations on the racetrack have not allowed the results to come. What we're seeing this year to start the year is he's obviously won 3 of the first 5 races. However, you can't sustain that all season long. There are going to be valleys. There are going to be times where those finishes aren't there, but I think that team has the mettle enough to survive those challenges, and we'll see them in contention, especially the closer we get to the playoffs and the closer we get through the playoffs to championship weekend in Phoenix.
The NASCAR Cup Series schedule, as far as the calendar goes, is the longest professional sports season there is, starting in February and ending in November, with only one weekend off, and that is coming up here on Easter weekend. So with that being said, it's so difficult to sustain that type of performance at that level week in and week out. You're going to have, sometimes it's just not there. And how you deal with those weeks where the performance isn't there goes a long way with how you put together an entire season. But to your point of this team now is putting together races, they're putting together race weekends. And that's something I know Steve Post and all of us talk about all the time. You've got to put together an entire weekend. And that starts back at the race shop, preparing the car with the equipment and the computer simulation to put the setup underneath it. Come to the racetrack, unload fast, and continue to execute.
Well, right now they're executing 5th in single car runs. The 5-lap average for Christopher Bell, he is 7th. He is 10th on the 10-lap average, and he's 10th on the 15-lap average with less than 12 minutes to go in practice. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Welcome to more.
Green flag is in the air.
More action.
Photo finish.
More awesome. More smoke. More sizzle. More soar. More roar. More friends. More family. Welcome to the one place where no matter who you are, you'll leave with something you'll never forget. Welcome to NASCAR.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, about 10 minutes to go in practice for the NASCAR Cup Series. Once this practice session ends, everybody will have a moment to catch their breaths, and then everybody gets 1 lap and 1 lap only to set their starting position for tomorrow's Straight Talk Wireless 400.
On the racetrack, just watch Joey Logano dive for the bottom of turns 1 and 2 and pass Christopher Bell. He's just come back by the start-finish line, and in that 1 lap after making the pass has gapped Christopher Bell by some 7 to 10 car lengths. So Steve Post, even though right now the raw numbers for Joey Logano may not necessarily be something you're going to stand up and beat your chest about, this is still practice and an opportunity to make your car better.
Yeah, the single lap speed for Joey Logano might be concerning. The long run speed for Joey Logano looks pretty positive, and they have all kinds of telemetry and data down here, and the benchmark that virtually everyone is looking at here is Kyle Larson's car. Kyle's car, they have that kind of overshadowed Joey's car, and in the beginning of this thing they weren't even close, but now that we're 12 laps, 15 laps, even longer into this run, Joey Logano is running very similar speeds to Kyle Larson. They haven't said anything about the car, but Paul just said on the radio, you've got it dialed in now, which to me means that long-run speed, Joey Logano looks like they're fairly comfortable with that Shell Pencil Ford.
Just going back and looking at some of the fall-off the postman was just talking about, speaking of Kyle Larson, his lap times have fallen off 2 seconds in 26 laps. That's That's about what we've been seeing out of others, give or take a tenth here or a couple tenths on the other side.
Yeah, but when you talk in NASCAR Cup Series terminology, a tenth of a second is a big difference. And when you drop that much, that's something that I think a lot of people pay close attention to. But Bubba Wallace, his averages stayed the same and very consistent. Even though they dropped, they didn't quite have a huge drop-off on them like some of the cars that we're seeing. Chris Warner, what about Christopher Bell? He's been one of those drivers we've been talking an awful lot about here in this practice.
We really have, Alex, and you guys alluded to it, also seeing Joey Logano blow by him a couple laps ago. He came over the radio and said the car was really good until right now. That was lap 25 or 26 on his set of tires. That's when he feels like the balance really changed. So the handling going away, starting to build really, really loose. And so crew chief Adam Stevens said, we want to run this out and get as long of a run as we can. They may pull him down pit road sooner rather than later to try to get an adjustment, but that's kind of the benchmark for them. They wanted to see when the balance shifted, and it was about lap 25 or 26 on this set of tires.
So Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, a couple of drivers we've just been talking about here as of late. Bell is putting together a consistent practice. Logano, I guess you can call consistent on the 20-lap average. Joey Logano, as Steve Post reported, the car's getting better. He's 24th on the 20 consecutive lap average.
Yeah, that's an interesting point of feedback if the car's getting better. Well, but then again, you're factoring in the average of the laps run since lap 1, not in increments of 5. Right, Todd?
Yeah, and you look at it, Joey Logano's fire-off speed was what? 0.5, a half a second slower than Kyle Larson, so that lap's going to build right into your average. So at this point, he hasn't, you talked about 2 seconds of lap time fall off for Kyle Larson. I think Joey's was like 1.4. He's actually meeting up with it just on the backside, just didn't have the fire-off speed to start with.
Watching 3 cars right now, Mike, really get after it in practice here in turn number 1.
So we're watching Tyler Reddick run the bottom of 3 and 4 and Larson the top of 3 and 4. Now we're watching Reddick run the top of 1 and 2 and Larson run the bottom of 1 and 2. It's almost like they're testing the waters in different kinds of formation. This is the first time we've seen Kyle Larson on the bottom all practice long.
On those worn-out tires. So, Todd, this is a golden opportunity to learn a little bit more about what your car can do.
Yeah, definitely, because you're going to have to be this far into tires. You're going to have to find your way around traffic you're trying to pass. Or if you're leading the race, this is when you run into lap traffic and have to move your race car around the racetrack and find ways to make speed and get by cars.
Watching it go, the most laps we've seen run today combined in practice was Noah Gragson. He's run 38 total laps. That was back in practice number 1. A lot of these teams out there are getting upwards of 30 to 35, 36 laps in a single practice session. This Group 2 still has 5.5 minutes remaining in it, so they're going to approach that mark as well. Let's talk a little bit about A.J. Allmendinger, because when you come to Homestead Miami Speedway, his name might not be one of them that you think about being one of the better drivers in cars here. But Allmendinger's got 3 straight top 10 finishes at Homestead Miami Speedway, which is the longest streak he's got on active racetracks in the Cup Series.
Well, I'm sure it's going to surprise some folks to know that he's tied with Christopher Bell for the best average finish statistic here. Let's be honest about it. When we think about A.J. Allmendinger, we think about what he can do going left and right on road courses, and he is a road course racing beast. There are some tracks in the Xfinity Series that have stood out, and in the Cup Series, of course, this is only his second full-time season in the last 7. So you may be out of sight, out of mind as far as A.J. Allmendinger and his performance abilities at some racetrack. This is one of his best, and he's looking forward to this race tomorrow.
Yeah, I think maneuvering and just manhandling a race car is one of his strengths. It's something that when you got to sort it out, he's done a good job of it. Building off it, they had a great momentum-building race last week at Las Vegas, a solid top 15 run most all day long, in something they can build forward with. And I look forward to seeing, now that AJ's full-time back in the Cup Series, taking the year off, they've got to build a little bit of that notebook again, but I look for him to continue to come forward and make something special out of this.
A.J. Allmendinger should be a factor at some point tomorrow. And Alex, we're starting to see a driver that we talked about a moment ago that's starting to become a factor in this practice, and that's Chase Elliott. We're way beyond the 20-lap average, 25-lap average, but it looks like Chase Elliott is starting to come to life here.
Yeah, he is. The longer he runs, the better that race car is getting. And Todd, I know you've got the ability to look at some graphs and some telemetry as well on Chase Elliott. I think you're beginning to see the same types of things with that car.
Yeah, from lap 20 on, his lap times are really impressive. I was actually noticing this, and our stat guy brought it up. The piece I really like about it, he's not married to the wall making that speed. I've seen him laying down more corners than not, really working his way around this racetrack and finding ways to be in competitive passing positions and making lap time there.
Well, in our production meeting the other day, you brought this up because when we think of Homestead, when we think of Darlington, we think of cars riding the wall, right? We think of cars up against the wall making speed. However, if everybody's up there, you can't pass, so you've got to make your car work. And having a versatile race car here speaks volumes, and more times than not, breeds success at a track like Homestead.
And being up against the wall almost kind of it disguises any of the mishandlings of your race car. That air up there kind of just, it's a soft, easy way to make your car make speed. When you can drive a lane off the wall, which is what I watched Chase do several times here, now you're not leaning on that air. You're working on the balance of your race car. He goes to the wall in 1 and 2 here to make me a liar, but he's done a really good job of working on his race car to make speed off the wall.
But trends are something all of you crew chiefs pay very close attention to here in the NASCAR Cup Series and in the garage area. So the trend of when cautions typically fly at Homestead, compared to, we're talking about Chase Elliott, he's getting better now at 36, approaching 40 laps. The trends of caution flags, Todd, not only with that, but the stage lengths, because he's getting better about the halfway point of our stages.
He is, and when you look at this is one of the things that I would focus on. I've actually had some success with it in the past. If you look at our stages come at 80, 165. So after you put the caution in, 80 laps, and 80 laps are first two stages. When you look at that, you're going to say 40 and 40. Well, the guys start pitting at 35, 34, 33. Now you got to go 43, 44, 45. And that last stage is almost 100 laps long. So you may not show all the prowess of your race car that's picking up here at lap 40 in the first two stages, but it puts you in a really good position for that final stage when they play off all the money.
So when you start ginning up lap counts and when to come to pit road, you got to come a couple laps early, maybe beat some people to the punch. Well, that means you got fresh tires, you're back out on the racetrack, and now you're ripping the stopwatch while others are on those old tires. Is that a game you like to play when you're on the box?
I wanted to be the first guy to pit road to start the cycle for everybody. If I got out there, I could get a lead on you. I might jump race cars that I was racing against and end up cycled in front of them. Then they have to use up their tire advantage to try to pass me and get through traffic. I've got an advantage that I don't have to be passing cars. I can just have better, cleaner air and go myself longer.
We still have 68 seconds remaining here in this practice session. The track is getting rather quiet. Only 2 cars are on the speedway right now. One of them continues to be Chase Elliott, and he has now run the most laps of anyone. He's now put in 40, coming to put in his 41st consecutive lap.
Here he comes out of the corner, and again, we're looking at the stopwatch, less than 1 minute. You've got Chase that's on the racetrack, and he's taking his UniFirst Chevy off the end of the front straightaway. Michael McDowell is the other. He'll bring his Spire Motorsports car. Basically, those cars are almost identically painted. However, Michael has a bit of a darker blue hue than that teal that is ensconcing Chase Elliott's car, as we're watching Chase about to put his 42nd lap in the books for practice, although it looks like he's going to do a little pit road practice right now. Blow that car down on old tires and bring that car in and come down, and it looks like Chase Elliott's practice time is done today here at Homestead.
There are visual marks coming below the white line in turn 4. There are 3 white painted marks that are parallel to each other. Then there's a gap, then there's 2, another gap, then there's 1. Those are visual marks, and we hear drivers talk all the time about hitting my marks, and that's when you come to pit road, understanding where that is and how to get your car wound down using those marks.
They added those 3 kind of countdown marks, and it's a 3-bar, 2-bar, 1-bar, like the extension of pit road wall and around the corner, because it's so vague out there. There's really not a good place. They gave gave the drivers some place so they've got targets to work at, something visual on the racetrack to work their way into pit road because it's such a tricky pit road to get to.
Very, very critical. We see drivers every race here, just about every race, overshoot the runway, so to speak, overshoot the entrance of pit road and have to go all the way around. Practice is over. Now, everybody will take a pause, take a collective breath before we begin qualifying for the Straight Talk Wireless 400. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Whelen Engineering, a global leader in the emergency warning industry, designs and manufactures reliable and powerful warning lights, white illumination lighting, sirens, controllers, and warning systems for the automotive, aviation, and mass notification industries worldwide. Whelen products are designed, sourced, and manufactured in America and tested on site to meet the toughest industry standards. Whelen Engineering, manufactured in America for over 70 years. We never left, and we're here to stay.
For South Carolina.
Want to know the latest with short track racing around the country? Well, one show has you covered, NASCAR Coast to Coast. Hi, I'm Chris Wilner. Join me each week as we break down the biggest headlines in grassroots racing and in NASCAR's regional and touring series. We'll also talk with rising stars from your favorite short track. Once again, it's NASCAR Coast to Coast. And you can watch or listen today on YouTube, Facebook, MRN.com, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, we are getting ready to qualify for the Straight Talk Wireless 400. Don't forget, coming up later today, the NASCAR Xfinity Series will be on track with the Hard Rock Bet 300 Motor Racing Network airtime, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Then tomorrow, we are back, NASCAR Live Race Day, our airtime 2 p.m. Eastern Time as we get ready for Race 6 of the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season.
Watching the Group 2 cars as they came off the racetrack, much like the Group 1 cars, Mike, they had an awful lot of scuff marks down the sides of their cars where they've gotten into the safer barrier at some point or another. Really got a close look at the right front of Kyle Larson's car. He got the right front just a little bit more, I think, than what he would like to have gotten.
Well, it's amazing to watch these wheel wells and watch the scuff marks on these wheels that these teams or these drivers, I should say, man, they are up there, and sometimes they'll skim across the wall. Sometimes they'll get hooked into the wall. They can't get off the wall, right? And that's more that they're taking off. More speed, more paint, more of the body. Kyle Larson got himself a bellyful on that deal. We were looking at one of his wheel wells, and he made some pretty decent contact. What is the ripple effect of some of that contact, Todd? Does it disrupt anything inside there that you need to be concerned about when you're getting ready to go lay down a fast lap?
I don't think so. I think the pieces here, he's torn up the wrap that's on the outside of this. When you look at it, it's one of those situations. That's part of this composite body and the benefit it's brought. There's really not the penalty. Mike brought this up earlier in the broadcast. There's not the penalty with this car that there was with our old steel body cars to going up and hitting the racetrack or hitting the wall, because the composite body panels will kind of they'll deform, and then when you get off the wall, they kind of come back. They have memory to come back to their shapes. They keep the downforce in the car. As long as you don't hit it hard enough to deform the wheel or to bend a toe link, you can hit it several times and still come back from it.
It takes a courageous individual to understand at 175, 180 miles an hour that you can run that close and even touch the wall or bounce off of the wall and keep going. Not only a crew chief, Todd Gordon, but you were a race car driver as well. So you understand that concept about driving in there. Obviously, here at Homestead Miami Speedway, you never turned a lap here in a cup car, but still have that sensation. As a driver, can you really put into words what it's like to dive a car down into a corner and be that close to a wall without really paying that close attention to it?
I can't, because I've never done it. I've never been in a situation to have to do it. But it really, as you talk to these guys about it, it's not as scary as you think it is, because your angle of incidence, the angle that you would hit the wall if things go awry, it's small. You're right up next to it. If you think about it, if I'm right against it and things go kind of something happens, I've only got 2 feet that I got to move before I end up in the wall. So it's not like running the bottom and having a blown tire. You're going to hit the wall hard. if you're running up against the wall, the impact on the wall is going to be pretty minimal. You just have to have confidence with all the safety stuff these drivers have, with the seats, the headrests, the Hans, everything they've got going on. There's a lot of confidence that they'll never get hurt. It makes it very easy to run in there and run up against the wall.
Let's hear from some of the drivers right now after practice is wrapped up before qualifying. Steve Post.
Ryan Blaney down here was top 5 in the 10-lap and 15-lap average, so the speed charts show a pretty good race car. Ryan, how did you feel about your race car?
Yeah, I thought our car had pretty good pace in it, and I thought there's still room to improve kind of the drive and how it drives and stuff like that. So, yeah, I feel pretty decent about it. Hopefully we can go lay a pretty good lap down here in qualifying and see what we got.
The way this season has unfolded, you've had fast race cars, haven't necessarily got the results you've wanted here over the last couple of weeks. Is this a good weekend and a good racetrack for you to kind of turn that trend around?
Yeah, I hope so. It's been a good place to us the last couple of years. We've run really well and competed for the win, so hopefully we can continue that trend and try to keep competing for the win, and hopefully one day we'll do the right things to where it happens.
We'll see what happens with it. That's Ryan Blaney. And one of the other awkward, weird stats, guys, points races this year have been won by drivers with the last name that begins with the letter B. A couple of drivers were in the media center today, and they were asked about that, and they said if that continues, it will likely be Ryan Blaney. Could be a very well continue that trend and do it here this weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Byron, Bell, and Barry are the winners so far. You've got Blaney, Bush, Busher. The list goes on and on with the last names that start with B. Let's hear from another one of those killer Bs. His name is Christopher Bell.
Yeah, Christopher Bell climbed out of the car, signing some autographs, top 5 in the single lap speed. Christopher, at what point did the car you start to feel like take a turn handling-wise? Heard you come over to the radio, it was like 25, 26 laps in. What did it feel like when the handling starts to go away?
Yeah, I mean, it died in a hurry. I felt really comfortable, really content there the first little bit, and then all of a sudden the light switch went off, and I'm sliding around like crazy. So you'll have that here at Homestead, and just got to take advantage of what we got. Normally the short run is where we're really good.
Short run means good things for qualifying. What do you need to do in qualifying to go for your 14th pole in this next-gen car?
It's got to turn, that's for sure. I've been beat here because I ran too high. I've been beat because I run too low. So got to pick the right line, and we'll see who does that.
All right, that's Christopher Bell. He'll go back to debrief, but likes the short run speed as opposed to some of the drivers we talked to that were good on the long run.
Yeah, Christopher Bell, I think his comments were poignant there, Mike Bagley, and the fact that he's comfortable. The car's going really good, and then just all of a sudden it falls off the ledge, and it's sliding all over the racetrack.
Meanwhile, Kyle Larson's not falling off the ledge. He's fastest in 5, 20, 25, 30 lap averages. Interesting, Bell would be content with that, and he would be happy with that. The car, quote-unquote, falling off the ledge, as it were.
Yeah. Go ahead. I don't know that he's content with it. I think he still wants to work on that. I think he's just identifying that that's where they're at. Definitely want that short run speed, but he'd like to get the long run speed built back in that race car.
As a crew chief, when you've had your success here, and I understand the scenarios are different, but overall, when you unload at Homestead Miami Speedway, do you like to have short run speed, or would you prefer to have the long run speed?
I focused on having short run speed. I always felt like when we came here, especially this is a championship race, historical data, Larry Mack always looks at this stuff, the crew chiefs do as well. Historical data told me there was always a caution somewhere from 20 to 30 laps to the end. It's just the anxiety, the amp, what happens here. I wanted to make sure that my car had 25 lap speed to go win a championship. So that's what we did in 2018. We were in position. We had 25 lap speed. On the longer run, we kind of fell back off, but we had enough to keep ourselves in the hunt. When the caution came, we were in a great position to capitalize on it. So that's just one of those things. How I attack this place, it'll be a little different being a spring race, but I still think the short run speed has to pay off here. The longest you're going to run is probably 40, 45 laps on a set of tires.
Let's get the thoughts of Justin Haley, who's with Steve Post.
Justin down here debriefing with Robert Cheddar Smith, the long-time and notorious car chief on this car. So, he's down here. They're all having a good time. Justin, I look like on some of the speed charts, the averages, the top 10 averages, you guys look like you were fairly good. How did it feel in the race car? How do you feel?
Yeah, it was good. It was super well balanced and unloaded well off the truck, which always helps. So, thanks to the Aspire Motorsports guys, everyone on this Game Bridge number 17 did a awesome job bringing a good piece here, but still early in the weekend and got to qualify up front, stay up front with pit stops, and execute the race.
Did you get a chance to move around a little bit? Was there a particular groove or something that felt better or worse?
All of them feel bad and all of them feel good at the same time. So you just kind of land in the corner, and wherever the car goes, you go.
That's probably the most accurate thing ever said about Homestead Miami Speedway. All of them can feel great, and all of them can be bad at the same time. That is Justin Haley.
And you got to put it together lap after lap after lap. Justin Haley has had some mild success here, although the finishes haven't exactly been as good as what he's run. 23rd, the best he's ever finished here in a NASCAR Cup Series car. They're lining them up right now at the exit of pit road as we get set for qualifying from Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back here at Homestead Miami Speedway, the first driver to take to the racetrack for qualifying is J.J. Yaley as he now works his way up off of turn number 4. Practice and pole qualifying for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 is brought to you on MRN by E3 Spark Plugs. Stuck in slow motion? Unleash the NASCAR fire inside your engine with E3 Spark Plugs. Forget pit stops too. E3 gives you maximum fuel efficiency for more miles on the road and less time at the pump. E3 Spark Plugs. Power, speed, domination. Get yours today.
Let's hear from Denny Hamlin, who's with Chris Wilner.
And as cars begin to qualify here, Homestead, Danny, God bless you. May have one more here. One of the quickest cars in the 5, 10, 15 lap averages. Just how good was the race car on the long run, and what do you think for qualifying here?
Yeah, I thought we could be a little bit better in the long run, but overall I think the balance is close. Got some things to work on, but pretty happy with the car and think it's going to trend in the right direction for tomorrow.
The rubber buildup, how does that affect the handling? I think you even had something maybe caught in the wheel. Was it maybe moving around a little bit?
Yeah, definitely at this track it'll certainly be a factor even in qualifying here. The guys that go out early, it'll be really, really tough for them. So they'll pick it up, and hopefully by the time it comes around to us qualifying, they'll have the track nice and cleaned off for us.
Progressive colors look good on this car. A new era for Joe Gibbs Racing with the progressive colors on this number 11 car. Just how big of a weekend is this to launch them off? 18 races this year you'll have them on the car.
Yeah, it's great to have the colors on here, and certainly we feel like we can give them a good run and get them the notoriety they're searching for.
Appreciate it. Denny Hamlin, guys. Again, long run speed was good. We'll see what it shakes out in qualifying here in just a minute.
J.J. Yaley has qualified. Cody Ware has. And now Shane Van Gisbergen comes out of turn number 4. His Trackhouse Chevrolet is about to cross the start-finish line under the checkered flag. Cody Ware is quickest, but not any longer. Shane Van Gisbergen, 32.740 seconds, 164.936 miles per hour.
And this new way we're qualifying cars here in 2025, I am a fan. I'll go on record and say it. You get one lap. That amps the pressure up a little bit more for these drivers. You only got one chance to do it right here at Homestead Miami Speedway as opposed to doing 2 laps.
And I like the fact that we do it by the metric from worst in the metric starting first to the best in the metric being last. Now if you were second in metric, you didn't get penalized and put into Group A and have to go early on, as Denny reported, a rubbered up racetrack, which isn't going to be as fast. So there's a reward to being better in the metric. Better finishes will put you in better qualifying positions next week. I really like where NASCAR's gone, and the fact that we've gotten rid of the second run at it. Get it all that first time. It puts a little more pressure on these drivers.
Austin Dillon just turned in his lap of record, 32.453, .394 miles an hour. He is the fastest of the 4 that have taken time so far.
Next driver on the track is Noah Gregson. He was awfully good in practice earlier today on the single lap speeds. He was a top 5 car as he takes the green flag and heads off to turn 1.
His lime and white Ford machine down to the bottom of the racetrack in 1 and 2. Then he lets it float way up against the safer barrier. Gets a good run down the back straightaway. Now, Alex, let's see what he does off the end of the backstretch.
See which lane he takes. He'll take it to the middle of the racetrack, unlike turns 1 and 2. So Gregson in the middle of the track will exit the corner, lets it drift up to his right against the outside wall.
While Cole Custer accelerates off turn 2, Noah Gregson takes the checkered flag. Noah Gregson becomes the fastest of the 5 that have turned in time so far.
By 0.3 of a second, Gregson goes to the top of the leaderboard. Austin Dillon is currently second quick. Shane Van Gisbergen is third. Cody Ware fourth, and J.J. Yaley is fifth. Cole Custer's on the track as we go back to Chris Wilner.
Chase Elliott ran 42 laps, by the way, on tires in practice as he continues to debrief with Alan Gustafson. We'll let him go ahead and do that before he goes out in qualifying. But again, the longest run on a set of tires was Chase Elliott and that Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. So something to keep an eye on as far as the long run speed. We'll see how it translates to qualifying. But just something of interesting to note. 42 laps on a set, that's the longest we've seen there in practice. We'll see how that translates to qualifying.
Cole Custer comes out of turn number 4. The checkered flag is waving over his Haas factory team Ford. Custer becomes the second of the 6 that have taken time so far. What about Ryan Preece? Last weekend, first top 5 of the season, third at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ryan is with the postman.
Yeah, Mike, let's talk to Ryan down here. Mike Bagley just referenced your third place run last week at Las Vegas. How nice was that, and how important is it to back it up with another solid run here at Homestead?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. So, yeah, I mean, this BuildSubmarines.com Ford Mustang, it had a really good pace as we kept going. So happy about that, and certainly just think about qualifying and make sure we execute this. That way we have a good pit selection and a great starting spot. So see if we can stack everything together and continue it on.
What did you learn about respective lines around the racetrack, grooves around the racetrack? What did you learn about respective grooves here?
Obviously, the fence is probably going to be really good, and really for me, it's just getting more comfortable right up against it. But I also like to be a little different, so I'm going to try and find a lane that not everybody is in. That way, we have the opportunity to have some cleaner air in traffic.
There we go. That's Ryan Preece. And Todd Gordon, you and I talked about this probably off camera earlier this week. Be a little different. Take some chances. Gamble. Ryan Preece and Derek Finley have got an interesting approach to this season, and it's yielded some pretty good results so far this season.
Yeah, really impressed with what Ryan and Derek Finley have done. Derek being the aggressive one at Phoenix, went to the red tires, the option tire at lap 7. It paid off with a really good points run in the first stage. They've taken some gambles, but I love what Ryan's talking about. Finding places to find speed in your race car that aren't the dominant lane so you are able to race with guys later in the race.
Carson Hocevar just found the second fastest speed of the 8 that have gone, 32.307 seconds, 167.146. In case you're tuning in, Noah Gregson, the fastest of the 8 that have taken time, which include Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch, Cole Custer, Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cody Ware, and J.J. Yaley.
Todd Gilliland is on the racetrack right now. Gilliland out of the Front Row Motorsports Stables, which is a team car to the fastest, and Noah Gregson. Find out what kind of time Todd Gilliland can put in. He keeps his car a good car width off of the wall through turns 3 and 4, trying to keep the momentum wound up.
Sun is glistening off that bright yellow Love's paint scheme and livery. He'll clock in 5th of 9 cars. Todd Gilliland just did a 32.445 or a 166.436 second lap.
Ryan Blaney on the racetrack now. We'll keep a close eye on what his time's going to be as he flies by and takes the green flag here, begin his qualifying lap. Blaney with the Dent Wizard colors. Beautiful race cars. Got some really deep blue on it, some white, some orange, and it is just a beautiful race car as it exits turn 2.
It pops when you look at it in the garage like we did this morning, and it's definitely popping right now on the racetrack. Let's see if he's got speed to match. He comes off the end of the back straightaway. He'll put that car about a lane and a half off the safer barrier, which has been the common lane that many drivers have taken so far in this qualifying session.
Here he comes to the line. Checkered flag is out. Noah Gregson is currently the fastest. Brian Blaney will be second quick. So it's Gregson, Blaney, Hocevar, Kyle Busch, Cole Custer, Todd Gilliland, Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cody Ware, and J.J. Yaley.
Still to come, Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, Zane Smith, Bubba Wallace, Ty Dillon, and others. From Homestead, Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Daniel Suarez, NASCAR driver, and I'm very excited to announce that NASCAR Cup Series is coming to Mexico. For the first time in history, NASCAR Cup Series will leave the United States and visit Mexico City. See you at the Autódromo Hermano Rodriguez from June 13 to June 15. Fast cars, sharp turns, and the magic of Mexico. Let's race. Get your tickets for the NASCAR Mexico City weekend on Ticketmaster.
Get ready to rev your engines, NASCAR fans. The thrill, the speed, the action. You can now experience it all for free on the NASCAR channel on Tubi. Feel the adrenaline with a library of unforgettable races from Daytona to Talladega. It's a front row seat to NASCAR history. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere on your favorite fast platform. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Find the NASCAR channel on your streaming device and start watching today.
Qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series continues here at Homestead Miami Speedway. We've got a total of 10 cars that have qualified so far. Let's hear from a driver that shares a record here at Homestead for the best average finish, and that driver's name is A.J. Allmendinger.
That's right, Mike. We were actually just talking about practice, so you were giving me the rundown. Feel like the same every year, that you need to work a little bit harder. But I tell you what, your stats here are pretty good. So how does maybe practice translate to qualifying and then, of course, the race tomorrow?
I usually feel like crap in practice here. It's, you know, you watch guys like Larson and Blaney and those guys rip the fence, and Reddick and those guys. Like, I'm always afraid to go up there and practice and catch the fence and just put us behind for the rest of the weekend. So I guess a good thing we've had 3 top 10s in a row here, and I felt like crap after practice every time. And not about the car, more just about me. But, you know, our action industry Chevy, I think, is competitive. We can definitely make some good adjustments going into tomorrow. Qualifying, it's like you kind of just throw it down in there and hope it sticks. So we'll find out. So I've qualified good here and been okay. And I think last year I qualified 32nd and had to drive up through the field, and I've done that too. So no matter what happens, I got confidence we can do it.
Well, I was going to say, it's a confidence-building thing, it sounds like. So how do you build that here at Homestead, especially running the fence?
I don't know. I've never really had any confidence in myself. So when I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Copy that. A.J. Allmendinger. Again, the stats speak for themselves. These 3 straight top 10s, but not happy in practice. But that seems to be a common theme, so we'll see if it translates to a better run on Sunday.
There are different things that motivate different drivers. And A.J. Allmendinger, with all his success in the world of motorsports, not just NASCAR racing, but all forms of motorsports, has always been that self-deprecating type of guy. He just doesn't have the confidence in himself, but that is something he also feeds off of to try to continue to get better week in and week out.
Well, he's his own worst critic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's been many a time he'll come out of the race car qualifying, especially on like a road course, and I've been down there after he's gotten out of a car, and he's like, we just suck. We are awful. I'm awful. The whole thing's awful. Okay, AJ, you're 5/10 quicker than everybody else. But he wants 6, he wants 7, he wants 8/10. He's always his harshest critic. But he's a very talented race car driver.
He is. Chris Buescher is another talented driver who's off to a pretty good start. 3 top 10s so far this season, including a 5th place run at Phoenix Raceway. Let's hear from Chris Buescher with Steve Post.
Chris, Alex is just talking about 3 top 10s to start the season. It's been a good start. What do we need to do to continue that good start or make it even better here at Homestead?
Yeah, I've been pretty proud of everybody at RFK Racing. We had a lot going on this offseason, so it's exciting to see the speed out of all of our race cars. So to have this Kroger Farm Ridge Mustang rolling in practice right up against the fence, I was pretty happy with it. A couple little tweaks here and there. We'll see how qualifying treats us. But yeah, ready to get in the race tomorrow. I love this racetrack. It's so much fun. So it's going to be a nice day.
What is there about this racetrack? What is it that you love most?
I think it's options, right? And we get to make our own destiny in a lot of ways. Got all kinds of different lanes to choose from. So all the chaos that our fans love. It's a lot of fun behind the wheel too.
All right, so the #1 brand of mozzarella sticks, Farm Rich. Can you hook some MRN guys up?
How many boxes you need? I got you.
Man, oh man. Well, good luck then.
Thank you.
Wow, good luck with that order of mozzarella sticks. He doesn't know what he just signed up for. That's Chris Buescher. He's getting ready to climb aboard.
Trust me, there's not a warehouse big enough to accommodate our needs as far as mozzarella sticks. In all seriousness, Alex, I still can't believe that Chris Buescher has yet to score a top 10 finish at this racetrack.
It is amazing. It really is. For a driver who's just so quiet, such a quiet demeanor outside the car, and he seems like a quiet demeanor inside the car, but when you come down to the checkered flag, he's always seems like he's in the mix and in the top 10.
Yeah, a guy that I really feel like would be suited to this racetrack. I'm amazed as well. I would look for him to break that streak in the near future here. I just feel like tire management, car management, putting yourself in good positions, those are things that Chris Buescher does a really good job of.
Well, if you're just joining us, a car on the racetrack and a driver on the racetrack right now has punctuated our practice coverage. Bubba Wallace of 2311 Racing, one of the fastest cars in a lot of categories. Fastest single car speed, 5-lap, 10-lap, 15-lap average. Let's see if he can back it up for his 1 lap and 1 lap only of qualifying. He's on the green. He's coming to the checkered flag as he exits turn 4 right now.
He's our 14th driver to get a lap in qualifying. Bubba Wallace takes the checkered flag, and he will be 3rd fastest. Noah Gragson still the best right now. Ryan Blaney 2nd. Now Bubba Wallace 3rd. Ty Gibbs with a decent lap. He'll be 4th. Carson Hocevar is currently 5th.
Zane Smith is 6th, with Kyle Busch in 7th. Cole Custer in 8th, 9th is Eric Jones, and 10th is Todd Gilliland.
And 11th is Austin Dillon, 12th is Shane Van Gisbergen, 13th is Cody Ware, 14th of the 14 so far is J.J. Yaley.
Riley Herbst is coming up, so is Denny Hamlin, John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe. But all eyes right now are on Ty Dillon. Had a good run a couple of weeks ago at Phoenix, and he's trying to give Colleague Racing a good run here this weekend at Homestead. Let's see if he can give him a good starting position as well.
Checkered flag for Ty Dillon as he comes by the line. He will be 12th of the 15 drivers that have taken time. So Ty Dillon falls in line right now, right behind his big brother Austin.
Next on the racetrack is one of the Sunoco Rookie of the Year contenders, Riley Herbst. Has made the move over from the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He is driving a car for 2311 Racing, a very colorful car this weekend. Chumba Casino is on the side of that, and basically there's a lot of colors in the palette that are on that race car. While he works his way around the racetrack, let's talk to the driver that's been fastest with everything so far today. Kyle Larson's with Chris Wilner.
That's right, Mike. He's been in every statistical category. He visits with Tyler Reddick here as Kyle continues to look at the SMT data. Again, both of these drivers really good at running the fence. We'll see them do that on Sunday. Kyle, you've been in all the statistics so far here today. 5-lap, 10-lap, 15-lap. How was the car overall in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously competitive. To be comfortable, I'd like a little bit better balance, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just it's tough, right? Like, you gotta be fast and a little bit out of control, but I feel like I was just a little too much out of control there. So, but it's fun. It's fun making laps in practice because that's probably about the hardest you run all weekend. So, yeah, we'll see. I think our IndyCars.com Chevy's good. Just got to execute qualifying here.
All right, that's Kyle Larson. He's going to go get buckled in his HendrickCars.com Chevy, the Truck Series winner yesterday. He's led some 626 laps here at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Cup Series. The 2022 winner looking at another one tomorrow.
He is, as we got our eyes right now on Denny Hamlin, the blue and white Progressive Toyota. Hamlin comes to the line to get a qualifying lap.
Denny Hamlin completes his lap, 9th. Of the 17 cars that have qualified so far, 32.379 seconds, 166.775 miles an hour. I was looking for a little bit more out of Denny. Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, me as well. Just looked like the car wouldn't roll speed through the middle of 1 and 2 and carry that same tendency in 3 and 4. They'll have their work cut out for them. They'll have to figure out how to race their way through some traffic tomorrow.
The other thing, based off of the NASCAR Cup Series and qualifying, is what order you pick your pit box every week, and that's based off of where you end up in qualifying. Here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, give us an idea and a description from your opinion, Todd, on this pit lane overall, and are there advantages outside of that number 1 pit box?
Well, you've got several openings. I think there's 4 openings in the wall here, so you've got 8 boxes that will have either an open in or open out. It's interesting because the first opening here, this is kind of unique to Miami Homestead, it's between pit stalls 3 and 4. So pit stall 3 ends up being an open in, 4 is an open out. That's farther forward than we'll see it at any other racetrack. I actually had a case here. I wasn't in the championship 4. Adam Stevens was thinking about taking pit stall 3, and he walked up to me before it, said, "Are you going to take 2?" Because I always was known for taking pit stall 2. I said, no, I'm not doing that to a championship 4 contender. He went ahead and took 3 and got a back marker to pick in front of him.
Why always pit stall 2?
Well, pit stall 1 typically with where the cameras are, you don't have to accelerate the car all the way back to pit road speed, and you get to that quicker. 2 is the second best box at that. And the other piece that I felt like, and this was probably one of the most important pieces, when I'm in pit stall 2, there's only one car that needs to drive around me while my pit crew is working on the right side of the car. Everybody else is in their box behind me. That way I'm not having my guys jumping out in traffic and distracted by that or in danger's way. Just a cleaner place that we could take some stress out of the pit crew as well.
Was that a hard sell to some of your superiors on picking pit box number 2 if you did not win pole position?
I got chastised a little bit for it at first, but it became an understood advantage as we got farther along into my career.
Ah, yes, the understood advantages, as it were. Justin Haley has just turned in the 9th fastest lap of the 19 that have gone so far. Chase Briscoe will be up next with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Michael McDowell, and a former Homestead winner in Joey Logano, still yet to qualify. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing. And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters. Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, Noah Gregson still the fastest car in that Beefaroo Ford Dark Horse Mustang as we continue through qualifying in just a moment. Let's get a thought from Ross Chastain and take his temperature before he gets set to lay his lap. Chris?
Ross is getting ready to climb aboard the Kubota Chevrolet. Ross, listening into the radio, you guys were fighting a lot over the course of practice. Tight race car on throttle, things like that. Did you feel like you made any headway before we go qualifying today?
Well, of course, I think we just changed a couple things. So, I mean, we have to throw some stuff out of our Kubota Chevy. It's didn't take off fast and ended slow. So, just something that missing here, and we missed it last year. So, we got some different stuff in it, and I can't make speed. So, I'm not comfortable on the long run, and I'm not fast on the short run. So, a lot of work to do, and we'll get through qualifying here and learn from our teammates about 99 was way better. With Daniel thought and debrief and make some more changes for tomorrow.
Spirited battle yesterday in the Truck Series. How much fun was that, and get back to do that with Al Neese and the whole Neese Motorsports team? And what did you learn yesterday that may apply to this weekend?
Well, I learned how to go fast in the short run. I mean, it was just crazy. Stage 3, how fast we could go, but not hang on the long run. So learned some stuff for the East team. I'm glad I'm in it early to feel that, and we can go to work before I run it again in Charlotte.
All right, appreciate it. That's Ross Chastain, guys. So still working on the race car there. You heard him debrief, I guess, through his practice regimen and what they were fighting. So we'll see if they can find something here throughout the course of the weekend.
Going to keep digging is Ross Chastain and that entire team. You always fight, try to come up with some more speed. Chase Briscoe's in pretty good pace here in qualifying. He's just popped up to the number 2 spot now. Noah Gregson put down the best lap so far, 32.101 seconds, 168.219 miles per hour. Gregson the fastest. Chase Briscoe currently second. Ryan Blaney is third. John Hunter Nemechek with nice pace. He is fourth. Bubba Wallace is fifth. Ty Gibbs sixth. 6th, Carson Hocevar 7th, Zane Smith is 8th, Riley Herbst 9th, and Justin Haley is 10th.
Kyle Busch is 11th, Denny Hamlin is 12th, Cole Custer is 13th, Eric Jones 14th, Todd Gilliland is 15th. Question is, where will Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and his Hayek Motorsports car fare into all this?
He will be 14th, will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So they are another team that is going to continue to search for speed and try to put their heads together once they get back to the Cup Series garage. Eric Jones is 15th, Todd Gilliland 16th, Austin and Ty Dillon go 17th and 18th, Shane Van Gisbergen and Cody Ware and J.J. Yaley are the 21 drivers.
Now we've got a car on the racetrack that all eyes will be on tomorrow. We expect Tyler Reddick to make an impact on this race. Tyler Reddick now has taken the green flag. He exits turn number 2, set sail down the back straightaway in his 2311 Toyota Camry. Alex, let's see what kind of lap he turns in here.
He's always good here at Homestead Miami Speedway is Tyler Reddick. He's going to run right up against the fence in turns 3 and 4. Very, very close to it as he exits the corner and sees the checkered flag.
Here he comes across the line. Checkered flag is waving. Tyler Reddick will be 10th of the 22. 32.350 seconds, 166.924 miles an hour. Steve Post?
The last car to go out will be William Byron. William's the 21 winner here at Homestead Miami Speedway. William, what's your sense? How good was your car in practice earlier today?
Yeah, our car was really good. It had a lot of pace, just the balance was a little bit edgy, so just trying to dial that in, and I think for qualifying, just run the right lane, so hopefully I can do a good job here and execute a good lap and be a little bit better than we were qualifying in the fall.
This sounds like a duh stat. You've led every race this year. You're the only driver that does that, has done that. What does that mean? What does that say about how good this team is?
Yeah, we've been doing a really good job. I feel like, honestly, we've been caught up by some cautions and some different, things that were out of our control, and we've been able to rebound. So just a really strong team so far this year, and just proud of everybody. They're doing a great job, and I feel like we just gotta keep performing like that, executing, and dialing in the little details.
Little details, that's what it's all about. That's William Byron. I'm telling you guys, the little details of this Valvoline Chevrolet is that it's beautiful with the blue, the white, the red colors. It is an absolutely beautiful car, and he will be the last driver to go out and get a time here this afternoon.
Well, speaking of details, Alex, that's something that Rudy Fugle and William Byron tend to quite well, and it pays off on the racetrack. They have that attention to detail, and he and Rudy are dialed in, and right now, arguably, the best, if not one of the best cars in the Cup Series garage.
Every week, and no matter what type of racetrack it is, and that is all part of the proof that they put the effort in with the entire race team. Now, Brad Keselowski did not get a good qualifying lap. He was 20th on his lap out of 24 cars, so Keselowski and that team still have some work to do. Michael McDowell, pole sitter from a week ago on the 1.5 mile at Las Vegas. He is 15th on the board now as everybody chases Noah Gragson.
Joey Logano next up. He flashes by the start-finish line under the green flag. Joey's about to set his lap of record here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Of course, Joey, a former winner here back in 2018. Todd Gordon was the crew chief back then. Let's see what Joey and current crew chief Paul Wolf have done to that Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang and see if they have in that car what they need to perhaps maybe give Noah Gragson a run for the pole.
Didn't have eye-opening numbers with practice earlier today, but it is qualifying, and it's a different event. Logano comes across the line.
Sixth fastest, 32.288 seconds. 167.245 miles an hour. That will put them 6th of the 25 that have taken time so far.
Noah Gragson is the fastest, but Chris Wilner, second quick so far, is Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, and Chase Briscoe's here watching the rest of the qualifying. Chase, first off this qualifying lap, obviously provisionally on the front row with some cars still to go, but how good do you feel about this race car?
Yeah, happy with the speed. Honestly, I've been so loose. Like, I feel like we can be way, way better still if we just get the balance a touch better. So, yeah, happy with, starting position. Hopefully it'll be in the top 10. I don't know where it's going to stack up. But, yeah, for our speed, for how loose I am happy about that. But, yeah, if we get this thing driving good, I definitely think we'll be in the mix tomorrow. Just need to get a little more snugged up. I'm just sliding too much. So, yeah, see if we can do that with our Bass Pro Shops Toyota, and hopefully just have a clean day. We haven't had one of those since Daytona, so that's what we're trying to do.
Well, you mentioned Bass Pro Shops. Only fitting you went fishing this weekend down here in Homestead, Miami. So what did you catch? It seems like you caught a bit.
Yeah, it's been a good 2 days of fishing for me. At home, I caught like a 6.5-pound bass, which was the biggest I've caught out of my pond. And then yesterday, we went fishing, caught 5 sailfish, kingfish, 1 tuna, and like a 8-foot hammerhead. So it was a lot of fun. I've never really done a whole lot of offshore fishing. So yeah, it was a ton of fun. Looking forward to hopefully doing some more.
Maybe the success of catching fish will be a successful weekend here at Homestead, Miami for Chase Briscoe.
He had a beautiful day on the water yesterday. A lot of the drivers and crewmen in that garage took some time out to go deep sea fishing, and a lot of them have a nice pull from the Atlantic, as it were.
Yeah, they did. Here's Chris Buescher across the line. Buescher will be 7th fastest. A.J. Allmendinger with a pretty good qualifying lap as well. Allmendinger goes to the number 6 spot. So it's still Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, John Hunter Nemechek, Bubba Wallace, A.J. Allmendinger 6th. Then you've got Chris Buescher 7th, Joey Logano is 8th, Ty Gibbs 9th, and Carson Hocevar is 10th.
Christopher Bell just took the green flag. Zane Smith is 11th, Riley Herbst is 12th, Tyler Reddick is 13th, Justin Haley is 14th, Kyle Busch is 15th, Denny Hamlin is 16th, Cole Custer is 17th, Michael McDowell is 18th, 19th is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Eric Jones is 20th.
Christopher Bell works his way into turns 3 and 4. The rest of the cars that have qualified, 21st is Todd Gilliland, 22nd is Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski 23rd, then it's Ty Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cody Ware, and J.J. Yaley.
Checker flag waving for Christopher Bell. He will be 11th at 32.309 seconds, 167.136 miles per hour. Still to go, and those that will round out qualifying today will include Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, and William Byron. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Whelen Engineering, a global leader in the emergency warning industry, designs and manufactures reliable and powerful warning lights, white illumination lighting, sirens, controllers, and warning systems for the automotive, aviation, and mass notification industries worldwide. Whelen products are designed, sourced, and manufactured in America and tested on site to meet the toughest industry standards. Whelen Engineering, manufactured in America for over 70 years. We never left, and we're here to stay.
May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
From legendary races to heart-pounding finishes, NASCAR Channel is your 24/7 pit stop for all things NASCAR. Streaming classic moments, iconic rivalries, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world's greatest drivers. Dive into the NASCAR culture with shows about the cars, the teams, and the personalities that make it America's most exciting motorsport. Best of all, it's completely free. Stream anytime, anywhere. No fees, no strings, just NASCAR. Start streaming now on Tubi.
About to put a bow on NASCAR Cup Series qualifying here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Programming update a little less than 45 minutes from now at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to join us for our live coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Hard Rock Bet 300. Taylor Gray will lead the field to the green flag for that one. Again, we will have that coverage coming to you at the bottom of the next hour. Right now, Alex, we need to button up qualifying. Everyone right now is in hot pursuit of Noah Gragson.
And rightly so. What a lap Noah Gragson put down. Steve Post looking down from our broadcast booth. I see you down there around Noah and that team. It looks like there's some nervous energy down there.
You literally stole the words that I was going to start with. Nervous energy down here. They're kind of milling around. They're keeping an eye on all the monitors. They're keeping an eye on the racetrack. Some are even looking to the sky, looking at the sun to make sure it keeps baking this racetrack. Just saw Drew Blickensderfer go over and have a little brief conversation with Noah, and they laughed and chuckled and separated. But right now it's just nervous energy down here as they wait for these final few cars and see if they can have this Beefaroo Ford Mustang lead the field to green here. So fun energy. Fun time down here for Noah Gragson and this team.
A lot of nervous energy for Chase Elliott fans right now. He has just taken the green flag. The good news is his practice ended well looking at the broad picture. if you focus in on Chase Elliott's practice performance in the short term and the narrow focus, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, if you looked at single car speed, I think he was in the 30s, but his long run speed looked like he really found some balance in that race car. We'll see where that turns back, because qualifying is all about that single lap speed. See what adjustments they've been able to make.
Here's Chase Elliott as he comes to the checkered flag, and we'll find out what Chase Elliott's lap falls in line. It will be outside of the top 10. As a matter of fact, it will be 13th on the leaderboard for Chase Elliott. But again, if you're an Elliott fan, don't go pounding your forehead on the table just yet. They've got good long run speed, and it's how you put together 400 miles of racing tomorrow.
His Hendrick Motorsports teammate Kyle Larson has just taken the green flag. Kyle fastest in the 5-lap, the 10-lap, the 15-lap, the 20-lap average. Kyle Larson is definitely the favorite to win this race tomorrow, not only in the odds makers in Las Vegas, but of a lot of people we spoke with in that garage, Alex, walking around this morning. Here comes Kyle Larson. He's off the end of the backstretch. He is going to set his lap using the outside lane at both ends of this racetrack.
Here he comes down to the checkered flag. Larson will flash by, trip the timing lights, and Larson will be 10th right now. And again, 10th for Larson, but a good long-run race car. Larson, barring any kind of overtime racing this weekend, is scheduled to run 900 miles. He won last night in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, Baptist L200. He'll be racing here in just a little while in the NASCAR Xfinity Series Hard Rock Bet 300.
Ryan Preece has just taken the green flag. After Ryan, we've got 6 cars to go, and we'll know the starting lineup and who will lead the field to green tomorrow here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ryan Preece halfway down the back straightaway, driving his Roush Fenway Keselowski Ford Mustang up into the banking of turn 3. He's about a lane off the outside wall. Now he'll swing it wide and nestle up against that safer barrier as he sees the checkered flag waving.
And Ryan Preece's lap is going to be officially in the books at 26th. So that'll make the team give themselves a collective stink eye. That's not exactly what they had in mind either on their pace, so they're going to have to go back and put their heads together and make sure they got good race pace on that Ford Mustang Dark Horse.
Daniel Suarez across the line and under the green flag. Still to come, Chastain, Cindric, Bowman, Berry, and Byron. Todd, what do you think? Noah Gragson, 32.101, 168.219. Just your opinion of who's left to qualify. Anybody in that group, do you think, that can eclipse that time and speed set by Noah?
I mean, William Byron has been one of the best all year long. That's why he's leading our points. I think Noah can't breathe easy until qualifying is over, seeing how William Byron's the last car to roll off pit road.
Right now, Daniel Suarez will take his official qualifying lap. It will be 28th is Daniel Suarez's lap. His Trackhouse teammate Ross Chastain is up next as he comes up off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Ross Chastain telling Chris Wilner a few moments ago that not happy with the speed that car is generating. They've made a tweak here, they've made a tweak there. They're trying to get more speed out of that Kubota Chevy Camaro for Trackhouse Racing. So a couple of Trackhouse cars back-to-back with a Penske car still to come in Austin Cindric. We've got a Hendrick car still to come with Alex Bowman. And William Byron with Josh Berry's Wood Brothers Ford sandwiched in between the Berry and Byron cars.
After the big win for Josh Berry last week, we saw him and chatted with him a little earlier today, and he's still the same Josh Berry. Very quiet, very unassuming, but still very confident as a race car driver.
Ross Chastain, 21st across the line, 32.391 seconds, 166.713 miles an hour. And again, the speed and time everybody is shooting for belongs to Noah Gragson. That Beefaroo Ford Mustang pace is qualifying right now, 32.101 seconds, 168.219 miles an hour. Austin Cindric has taken the green flag. He exits turn 2 and heads up the back straightaway.
One of the things I noticed here, turn 1 and 2 completely in shade. Looks like turn 3 and 4 in shade as well. That should be a little bit of a help. We'll see what Austin Cindric does here. I know very similar to Ryan Blaney's setup that they qualified third with. See where Austin comes out here.
Here's Austin Cindric to the checkered flag. Cindric will trip the timing lines. He'll go to the number 5 spot, so it was a good lap for Austin Cindric, but everybody continues to chase Noah Gregson, who is trying to score his first career NASCAR Cup Series pole.
On the racetrack right now is Alex Bowman and his Hendrick Motorsports car. Alex, a very unique paint scheme. The Ally livery is on it, but there's a lot of basically color representation on the palette there on that Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, it is the Women's Professional 3-on-3 Basketball League, and the different teams and their logos on that race car as well. Really cool looking paint scheme. It's mostly purple and light blue, but he's got, looks like a pretty good lap here coming up off of turn number 4. That car has not wiggled at all.
He's hammered down, exiting 4 and heading across the start-finish line to complete his one lap of qualifying. Alex Bowman to the pole. Wow. 31.982 seconds, 168.845 miles an hour. What a lap for Alex Bowman and that Hendrick Motorsports Chevy Camaro, knocking Noah Gregson off the pole here with just now 2 cars to go.
With the entire racetrack still in shade. Did that aid in that? Obviously, there's good speed in the Alex Bowman Chevrolet, but the shade continues right now for our next driver. That's Josh Berry as he rockets down the backstretch, headed for 3.
Now just a pocket of sunlight right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. The rest of the racetrack is in cloud cover, and now he is in the sun, now back into the cloud cover, and here comes Josh Berry, next to last car to qualify for the Straight Talk Wireless 400.
Josh Berry has the checkered flag, second fastest for Josh Berry. So the last 2 cars to go, mostly under cloud cover, have gone 1 and 2 now. It's Alex Bowman and Josh Berry, the 2 cars at the top of the leaderboard. And then there was one as he comes up off turn 4.
Crew Chief Rudy Fugel dancing a jig right now on pit road, hoping for all the cloud cover one can get. And he's getting it right now. William Byron under the green flag. William diving to the low lane in turns 1 and 2. And again, the cloud cover completely covers Homestead Miami Speedway. Could this be the differentiator that could put William Byron and that Valvoline Chevy Camaro on the pole? Here he comes off the end of the backstretch. He'll dial up the lane, about a lane off the wall. Can William Byron win the pole here at Homestead?
It will be a Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, guaranteed. Checkered flag is out for Byron. He will be 5th. It'll be Alex Bowman who wins pole position for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Josh Berry will qualify 2nd. Noah Gregson will be 3rd. Chase Briscoe 4th. And William Byron rounds out the top 5. When we come back, we'll hear from our pole winner. From Homestead Miami Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Of broadcasters.
Welcome to Martinsville. Martinsville isn't your average everyday racetrack. It's truly one of a kind. The speed, the shape, the history, the hospitality, heck, even the hot dogs. A one-of-a-kind weekend at the short track of NASCAR with trucks on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, and Cup Series on Sunday. It's one event too amazing to miss. NASCAR weekend at Martinsville Speedway, March 28th through the 30th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Back here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, qualifying has wrapped up for the Straight Talk Wireless 400, and Alex Bowman has won the pole position. He's with Steve Post.
Alex Bowman with the pole position. Alex, did you see that lap coming from your practice? How good did you feel going into it?
Yeah, we were really fast on the short run, really not fast on the long run. So we got some work to do, but we'll be doing it from the first pit stall and, you know, have a lot of things starting right for us. So definitely appreciative of this Ally 48 team for working hard. This hasn't been one of my best racetracks, so getting better and at least starting up front.
How does one then work on the car for the long run? Is it teammates? Is it engineers? How do you go through the process of working on that overnight now?
Yeah, I think some of our teammates were kind of the opposite of us and really fast on the long run stuff. So got some notes to look at for sure, and I honestly feel like I just beat my tires up too much on the short run and some traffic, so hopefully some clean air will fix that.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Alex Bowman wins the pole here this afternoon at Homestead Miami Speedway for tomorrow's Cup Series race.
Alex Bowman will lead the field to the green flag. Going to be the Straight Talk Wireless 400. Be sure to join us, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Motor Racing Network will be on the air with NASCAR Live Race Day, and it'll be race 6 of the year for the NASCAR Cup Series. Don't forget, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll join you with NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage of the Hard Rock Bet 300. For Steve Post, for Chris Wilner, Todd Gordon, and Alex Hayden, I'm Mike Bagley. We congratulate Alex Bowman and Hendrick Motorsports, pole sitters for the Cup race tomorrow here at Homestead. So long, everyone.
Motor Racing Network's coverage of NASCAR Cup Series practice and pole qualifying for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 has come to you from Homestead Miami Speedway. Presented on MRN by E3 Spark Plugs. Powerful and fuel efficient. Find E3 at your nearest auto parts store. Our coverage has come to you under an exclusive radio license granted by Homestead Miami Speedway to the Motor Racing Network, solely for the non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any use of the descriptions and accounts of this event without the express written permission of the Motor Racing Network is prohibited. Today's broadcast was directed by Trey Downey. Broadcast engineer Steve Fridley. Studio engineer Andy Pachenik. Audio engineer Craig Moore. The president of MRN is Chris Schwartz. Follow NASCAR every day at MRN.com. This broadcast was a production of the Motor Racing Network.